We have reached the Elite Eight. One more win gets you into the Final Four. For Auburn and Michigan State, well, these players all want to make it. Coaches have been there before. Bruce Pearl took Auburn to the Final Four in 2019. Tom Izzo is looking for Final Four appearance number 9. 9. Yeah, you want to feel old? Tom Izzo won the national title 25 years ago. That is when his Mateen Cleaves-led Michigan State team won the national title. So he is trying to get back, to do it again, and has been trying and trying. He's gotten to the Final Four. He's gotten to the championship game. Does that give Michigan State an advantage in this situation? Because Tom Izzo has been there so many times before, and Bruce Pearl has been there once to the Final Four. He's been in a couple of Elite Eights. He took Tennessee there once too. I don't know that it necessarily is a huge advantage for Tom Izzo. I think this is a great coaching matchup. These are two of the best in the country. Izzo has been doing this forever. He's been great at it forever. He just, for whatever reason, hasn't been able to get over the hump again once he's been in the Final Four. But the thing is, and I say this all the time when we're talking about football teams and the national title, it's the same thing. You keep knocking at the door, you're going to get through. And obviously, Tom Izzo got through very early in his career after succeeding Judd Heathcote, but it's been a long time. But maybe this is the team to do it. To do that, they would have to beat the number 1 overall seed in Auburn, which didn't look like a number 1 overall seed for a lot of the Michigan game. It was uncharacteristically sloppy. Now, it felt like this Auburn team was trying to go a little faster than it has in a lot of its games this season. You know, we've seen Bruce Pearl alter styles based on opponents, based on his own personnel. And we've seen much faster tempo Bruce Pearl teams. But they were trying to go fast against Michigan because of those 2 7-footers. They didn't want them to get set up in the lane. And Auburn, which outside of Janai Broome is not a huge team, would have had a harder time attacking the basket. So I don't think they're going to do that necessarily in this game. And we'll see what Michigan State does in terms of lineup. Because remember, Michigan State altered its lineup for its game against Ole Miss in the Sweet 16. Tom Izzo gave Cohen Carr his first start. Cohen Carr is 6'6", 225. Explosive leaper. You saw the dunk that really was the turning point in the Ole Miss game. So he's from Atlanta. He was making his first career start. It was a huge deal. But think about it this way. Tom Izzo went away from the starting lineup that he'd used for a lot of the season. Simon Zapala, the 7-footer, had started 35 games. He did not get in the game against Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss had a smaller lineup, and Tom Izzo felt like shorten the rotation. Don't need the size here. They probably need the size against Auburn. They probably need the size playing against Janai Broome, who is one of the more dominant post players in the country. So do they throw Simon Zapala and Carson Cooper at him? Do they keep the lineup the same, though? Because Cohen Carr made them more explosive. And this is a guy, again, he's quite a leaper, so he could probably defend a bigger guy too. We'll see how it goes. But I thought that was one of the most interesting moves of the tournament so far. Jace Richardson, team high 20 against Ole Miss. He's hot. That's going to be good for him. But it could be a battle of these guards. We'll talk about them in a second. But first, I want to tell you about how to bring home the W in your own house. You do it with the ultimate tailgate package, the burger box from Whataburger. You got people over to watch the game. Get that burger box. Comes with 10 single or double burgers with or without cheese, your pick of sauces, and all the fixings. You can customize those so you can get the spicy ketchup. You can get the grilled jalapenos. It doesn't matter. Whataburger has it all. They will give you whatever you need. Keep it basic or go wild. It'll be a slam dunk. And if you order online from April 4th through the 7th, remember, that's what these teams are trying to get to play in April 4th through the 7th, you get double reward points. Also, that burger box is great, but so is the What Wings Party Pack. 72 boneless tender bites, family fry box, and your choice of sauce. Bring it home. That's a W for you. It's a W for your guests. And who knows? Maybe a W for your team. And if your team wins, you're going to have to do this all over again, order Whataburger again. But when you do it April 4th through the 7th, you get double reward points. Bring home the W with Whataburger. All right, let's talk about how these teams can bring home the W. The guard matchup is going to be very interesting in this game. I mentioned Jason Richardson's son, has been fantastic for Michigan State all year. Tahad Pettifer is explosive. He is Auburn's spark. That's a Janai Broom said this the other night. He said when Auburn needs a spark, Pettifer gives them that spark. He's a lefty. He took over really in that game when Janai Broom and Chad Baker-Mazara were on the bench with foul trouble. That was the most impressive part is this freshman who the players and I think some of the coaches call him lovingly, of course, a little shit. But this guy just absolutely took over. And it was when Auburn needed him the most. Now, Chad Baker-Mazara, I think, is a critically important piece of this game, especially when you're playing as a team like Michigan State. Now, what'll be interesting to see is how that matchup works out in terms of the physicality, because Chad Baker-Mazara is active. He's everywhere. He's also playing through some injuries. And you could see it in that game on Friday night where there were a couple times he hit the deck and he's grimacing, but then he's going all out once he gets back up. And you've seen throughout the season when teams get physical with Chad Baker-Mazara, the reactions, they're a little bit different. And Bruce Pearl has said he doesn't know which version of that he's going to get. Chad Baker-Mazara plays under control. Auburn's got a really good chance of winning this game because under control is probably the wrong word. Right on the edge with Chad Baker-Mazara, because you want him flying around. You want him in people's faces. You want him making plays. You just don't want to go too far and have a technical foul or an ejection. Obviously, that would be pretty crippling. But that's the thing. And then, of course, in the post, what does Tom Izzo do lineup-wise? Because he had a very different lineup for Ole Miss. What does Tom Izzo do lineup-wise to deal with Janai Broom? Because Janai Broom is one of the smoothest post players in the country. He's old. He's seen it all. It's going to be a fascinating matchup. Bruce Pearl, Tom Izzo. Auburn's a 5.5-point favorite in this game. Your total 149.5, which seems about right. I think Auburn's going to cover this thing. I do. I think Pettifer really blossoming as things have gone on. I think Broom has a big game because I'm not sure who they're going to match him up with. I'm not sure how they're going to defend him. I think this is Auburn's game. I think Auburn's going back to the Final Four for the first time since 2019.